Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 301, where I'm like awkwardly touching my shoulder randomly.
You got like that mystery ghost hand up here.
I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. It is May 24th, 2016. It's Tuesday, so we're a couple days late recording, but it's been like Grumposaurus Rex here in my house, so we figured we'd just wait a couple days and and record when everybody's in a better place mentally. Now I'm trying to think of like the Addams family, the little hand. What was his name?
Thing.
Oh,
Is
it was
Thing
Thing?
or It? It's either Thing or It.
Cousin
it's
It was the
Thing.
one with the hair.
Yeah, it's Thing.
Okay.
That would be amazing. To have an extra hand around here would be incredible.
So you say that, and the first place my mind goes is a dirty place. So we're just gonna
Yeah,
let that move on. So,
Did you ever introduce yourself?
I did.
Okay. I'm just making sure.
Yes, I did. And if not, this is the 301st episode, so surely by now, hopefully people know who we are.
There could be new viewers.
Yes, there are, and as I was reading through the people's favorite Knit Girls moments, a lot of people mentioned, well, not a lot of people, I guess, a percentage of people said that they're relatively new viewers, so I guess we're still relevant enough to bring in the young, hip crowd.
I did mean to tell you, like, someone asked me to link the fish tank story, and it got eaten by Blip.
Oh.
So we'll have to try to get, maybe when you move back, I'll come over and we'll try to get episodes re-uploaded.
Yeah, because Blip didn't always distribute to YouTube, so it's not a difficult process to upload them, it's just very time consuming, so it's something I need to do. I just haven't done it yet.
We need an intern is what we need to do, like that.
Yeah. Anyway.
Maybe when you move back here, I'll find us an intern.
So, this is a knitting show.
Sometimes.
A lot of what Laura has knit this week has gone on to find happy homes, but...
That's true. But I have the leftover yarn that I can show, and Leslie's going to put in pictures, but you can actually see the yarn, which will give you, because my pictures sometimes are not the best. So there's that. Do you want me to go first with my knitting?
Sure.
Awesome. I have 3 things on the needles right now. I'm about to have a 4th, so I'll show that too. I am knitting right now, I'm knitting a barn raising square. And I'm a very ill-prepared podcaster. It's a pattern that's in this book, which is a great book. It's the Knit Along book by Larissa Brown. It came out years and years ago. And there was a time where, like, tons of people were knitting these, but this is the barn raising square blanket. I'm not knitting this for me. A friend's mother passed, so they are doing, here's a better picture, everyone's knitting a square or two, and they were doing on the 16th, but my friend who's collecting the squares knows that I am a tardy Laura. 99%. I was late to work today for the first time in over a year.
Wow.
By 5 minutes, because the guy in front of me at the gas station couldn't decide what brand of cigarettes to purchase. It was a very important, time-consuming question. And then he gets them, and he's like, oh, I need a lighter, too. So that was another, 5 minutes. I'm like...
Did you have kids today?
No, but
okay.
I still have to be at work on time.
Well, yeah, but I just meant, it didn't impact,
no.
a class or anything.
And I told Tungut I was late because I was sewing on buttons on his baby gift. So he was like, whatever.
Nice. Guilt trip the principal.
I was. It doesn't matter. We've got a 7-minute window. So after that 7 minutes, you get, is it fined? Your pay is decreased.
Docked, yeah.
By half an hour, which is not something that I've only experienced that once when I locked my keys in my car at the gas station. Actually, it was at a Walgreens, and I never want to do that again. Anyway, this is me killing time until I get to the end of the row so I can show you this better. The yarn is Graph Rats. It is leftover. It's Vomisa, and it's leftover from my that's what the square looks like, but without that big cord in the way. So you start in the middle and you knit it out. It's left over from my Kirsten Kapoor shawl that I knit last year for Camp Loopy, the Dwayne part triangle. So it's my little square and it's almost done. I'm gonna block it and then another one. It's hanging out in my Erin Lane bag, which has stars. So have we discussed the fact that I won the Erin Lane bag?
Yes, at DFW, right?
Yes. So one of their shipments was late by a month, so they sent everyone a bag as a sorry it's late.
That's
so it just
nice.
came. Yeah, it's really nice. Like, that's amazing customer service. So this is this month's. It just got here. So look at how bright and cheerful it is.
Yeah.
Makes me super happy.
It makes me think of quilting, like log cabin quilting.
Yeah, and it's got like the strap on it that you can attach to things.
Right.
I think I saw the Knitmores a picture when they went to one of the festivals last year. They had the snap closed and they had it hanging off of in the airline, in the air, I get an airplane. Oh man, I woke up from a nap, just woo. And the airplane, they had this, where the trays lock.
Uh-huh.
They had it hanging, their tray down and hanging off of there. And this was the yarn.
Oh.
So it's Knit Circus. And it is called Meet Me at the Fair. And it came with a pattern also called Meet Me at the Fair. It is 300 yards of a fingering weight yarn, a gradient.
So this comes with the Erin Lane bag?
Yes.
Oh,
these two
okay.
come together.
I didn't realize it was a yarn club as well. Okay.
Yes, it's a yarn pattern bag club. So I'm excited. And now it's going to go live in that bag. So it's all together. So I won't lose it. That's what I'm saying. I want to cast on the cowl for Stash Ash. Alright, so Barn Raising Squares #1. And then I was just working on the toe, but messing it up, of my Hermione's Everyday Sock from Black Trillium. Like the pattern is Hermione's Everyday Sock, and I'm using Black Trillium yarn. And have been for like 2 months now. So I'm super happy that people are not like, but I knit like a row on it right before we record and that's it. But I'm going to finish it up for Stash Ash. I can't decrease on the toe while I'm trying to talk to Leslie because I've done it wrong twice.
Are you trying to call me distracting?
You are. And then the last thing that has gotten a little more work on it is the Very Colorful Yarning Socks in the HP colorway. That's also in the middle of a row. No cookies for me. Or cake today. Anyway, we'll talk about my shower later. So, there is this. So, I'm on the yellow, and I'm going to knit that until it becomes black, and then I'm going to do that black and red part in ribbing at the top, and then this one will be done.
Sweet.
And I need to get on that because I need to cast this on and finish it by the end of the month.
Ooh, you've only got like 7 days.
I know. I'm well aware.
Oh, but you're out of school when? Thursday.
So tomorrow I go up and I have a room that I have to clean that we're making into a parent resource center. And then I have an itch on my ear. And then I have to do records. And then Thursday I have to do report cards. So, like, basically for report cards, I sit up there and people come and bring me money for fines. Mm-hmm. So I can sit in it while that's going on. Like, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's it for me for works in progress, for sure. I'm putting everything but the Harry Potter sock away because, really, everything else will get messed up. So, you are knitting stuff.
I am. I'll save the most convoluted one for last.
Ooh, I do like the convoluted one.
So, I am knitting the Eladon Shawl, which is by Amba O'Brien. It's part of her Chroma collection.
I
Yes.
really want to cast like 6 shawls
I
on
know.
for Dash
She's
Dash and
she's
most
really got
one.
to slow down on producing things because I can't keep up with knitting them, but I
Like
want
that,
to.
and what is it? The Lamera, Lemuria. That
Lemuria, I think.
we saw Miss Babs wearing at MD Sheep and
And
Wool.
then I bought a gradient kit from somebody on Etsy to do another one of her shawls that I can't remember the name of.
And then Helgi keeps doing gorgeous shawls.
Yes. Oh my
That pure
gosh.
joy, I want to knit right now.
So this is Celadon, and I'm using Neighborhood Fibers Studio Decay. The pattern actually calls for sport, not a decay, but whatever.
They're similar.
Yeah, I mean they're close enough, and if it's bigger, it's a shawl, so who cares? So,
I love big shawls, and I cannot lie.
there's the main color is this pink, which is something weird with an M, Mondomin. And then there's the gradient with the gray, which I slightly changed the number of repeats to use more of the yarn. And then it goes back to pink, and because I had more of this gray, I added in some extra stripes just because I felt like being different. Although it does mean I have more ends to weave in, but not by a huge number. And so now I'm down to 9 stitches. I'm almost finished, but for it to count for Stash Dash, I have to leave something on the needles.
Yes, you do.
So I'm almost finished with this. The next time you see it next week, it will be finished. But I can't bind off until, what, Thursday? Or Friday?
Friday.
Okay. So I can't bind off until Friday. I'm following rules. And,
Way to follow rules. What was the other shawl by her that you wanted to knit? Was it Torquata?
I'll look once you
Okay.
start talking, and I'll link them.
Okay. I started linking, and that's why I brought up that question.
Yeah, this is going to be like all Amba all the time episode. So the next thing is, in order to try to win Stash Dash, since Laura has kindly changed the rules this year so that multiple strands held together will count, I decided that I'm going to knit a bulky weight, I guess not bulky weight, but like a blanket with multiple strands held together. And I've played around with different crochet patterns and different knit patterns, and in the end it's just too heavy when you have a whole lot of stitches. So I decided I'm making these. They're like grandma's favorite dishcloth. It's just
you start on one corner
right.
and increase out, and then you get to a certain point, and then you decrease.
Yep, that's all
Are
it is.
you using yarn overs as your increase, or what?
Knit front and backs.
And just knit 2 together SSKs as your decreases?
Yep.
Cool.
I haven't. So I'm using 3 different strands held together. This is just different acrylics that I got from Joann's. The bag with them is upstairs. I'll bring it down next week. And the reason I'm doing it with these knit on the diagonal like this is because I thought I could sort of borrow a page from quilting and half square triangles and use the directionality of the pattern of the knitting to sort of give it shape. So it's hard to see because you're only seeing half of it, but the directionality of this one goes up and then down. Yeah. And so you can use it. It's sort of like half square triangles where you can build all sorts of patterns. You just need a lot of them.
Or as boob covers.
Well, like, yeah, but
bikini triangle tops.
Wouldn't be super comfortable. So I've knit 4 of these purpley ones, and then I've knit a couple that are like red and gray. And so I'm gonna do color value and play with that so that there's some interest to it.
But, how many do you intend to knit all together?
So each one of these is 3 strands held together, and each strand I use roughly 40 yards. So it's 120
yards
per square. And so if I do a 6x6 little lap throw, that would be like a little over 4,000 yards. If I do more, then I can get even more yards.
So let's revisit the blanket rules on Stash Dash.
But I have to finish it.
Yeah. Okay. So the blanket rules for Stash Dash are as follows, because I've had a lot of questions repeatedly about them, because it's a confusing thing, and I know it's confusing, and I never mind answering questions. So feel free to
That is a
question
lie.
question everything. I mind, but I don't like. Now that I'm out of school, I don't mind nearly as much. How about that? Because I've got more time on my hands. Um, but I do appreciate, let me put it this way, I do appreciate it when people look at the
Right.
frequently
If
asked
they make an
questions
effort to find the answer first.
before they ask me. So, but the blanket squares are confusing. It was some other questions that I had gotten that I was like, I know that's in the frequently asked questions. um, so anyway, blanket squares. Blanket squares, if they are something that you are attaching as you go, as in the sock yarn blankets that you're attaching as you go,
Right. Like you pick up stitches to something
yes,
that's already made and you're adding these stitches to it.
those do not count unless you finish the entire piece. What's the
But
word for that? Modular knitting?
I guess, yeah, I guess modular. But you could have everything done except for 10 stitches, and then it would still count if you
Yeah,
wait. But you do have to completely finish it. Whereas the blocks that you create,
that it
um,
can stand on their own as separate. Like I could totally use Leslie's blocks as Swiffer covers.
yeah, I could feasibly make this, a dusting cloth, even though it would, be
Yeah.
kind of a waste. But
Or it could be like my barn raising square is going, it's one and it's going to someone else.
hmm
So a lot of people do swaps with squares,
right.
I guess is what I'm saying. So
So if the
those you can count separately, but in Leslie's case, they count separately if you're finishing them during Stash Dash. Like she's already finished a bunch, so those ones won't count unless she finishes
unless I
the
finish
whole
the blanket,
project.
right?
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
arbitrary rules. I can't even complain because I'm the person who makes the
you
arbitrary
are.
rules. But I think that's the fairest way to do it. But you can always next year tell me no, that is not the fairest way, and we can discuss it. And that's how the
And the
double
rules
stranded
change a
rule.
little bit as we go
Yeah,
through.
no,
So
if when people make valid points about Stash Dash, like we have discussions like adults do, because sometimes I pretend to be an adult and I listen and I'm like, yeah, that's a good point. Like Jasmine and I have been discussing, Jasmine from the Knitmore Girls and I were discussing, she really wants finishing, like sewing in a zipper to
hmm
count. So I'm debating in my head.
for maybe
But
next year, but not this
for
year.
next year, yeah,
Right.
not for this year. For 2017 Stash Dash. Oh my gosh, for just the 2017 Stash Dash. Let's get through 2016
For
Stash
real, I got enough to deal with this year before I start worrying about next year.
Dash.
Okay, so my last
All
work in
right,
progress.
yeah, you've got more stuff. Go for it. You have like 3 sweaters on the needles too that you can. Do you have a goal for Stash Dash?
Well, I want to hit 15K because
All the cool kids are gonna
I
be
feel like,
15.
it's out there now as something that can be done, so I need to do it.
This is funny because last year you're like, I'm not even gonna do 3K. I do what I want. You're not the boss of me. And so like Jess and Lynn and I have all been like, we're totally getting 15K. And Jess is overseas, and she can't see this, which is
hmm
hysterically funny. We can talk about her all we want. But like Lynn and I think have her convinced that by the time she gets back, we're both gonna have like 5K finished. She's only gonna be gone, like she left last week, and she'll be gone a week into Stash Dash or something. She's gone for 2 weeks, I think. Every moment seems like eternity.
Okay, back to my sweater.
Yeah, back to you.
So this is the Evenflo sweater by Joji Locatelli. It
Um,
is out of Mustache Sweater Girl yarns in the Queen of Hearts colorway. The sleeves are the last part to be done. I realized that as I started the band. So last time I
I
showed
like
this,
that though because that way, if you're running short on
hmm
yarn, you can do 3/4 sleeves.
and
I
I actually
love
think I'm
that.
going to do half sleeves on this because I wear sweaters more if they're part of a layer, where it's not.
Yeah.
I just wear sweaters with shorter sleeves more frequently than I do the full-on long sleeve ones. So I have made some modifications to this. So the last time I showed it, I had just picked up the stitches for the band, so I had just started this section. And since then, I have knit a big portion of the band. This is the pocket, and
Pocket
I did
sis.
change a little bit about the pocket because the way that it's written, the pocket is only as deep as the bottom of the edge, but there's still about 2 inches underneath that of
Yeah.
sweater. So I picked up some extra stitches here to make the pocket deeper. That way, if I have like my phone in my pocket or something, it's not going to fall out if it was at the level of the pocket hole. I don't know what you call that. Um, if it's deeper, it'll stay in there. Also, the
Would
bottom,
that be a gusset? What could we call that?
I don't know. I just made the pocket deeper because it
Okay.
wasn't deep enough in my for what I would use it for.
Yeah.
And then the bottom edge, I've got ends everywhere because I have to alternate skeins as I'm going, and then I
Yeah.
run out at random times, so I've got
Can
all
you
sorts of
explain how
ends.
you're alternating skeins? Because we did have a question about that.
Um, well, in any item that you're knitting back and forth, it's easiest to just alternate every 2 rows. Well,
Mm.
technically, it's you do 2 rows in one color and you do 2 rows in the next color, and you just as
On
you
that one edge, yeah,
yeah, on
you're
that one edge, as you finish with color A, and then you pick up the second strand of color A, you twist the ends together so that you're carrying the yarn up the edge. I'm sure that there's a tutorial out there that can explain it so much better than I'm explaining it right now, but basically every 2 rows I switch skeins because it's a hand painted yarn and otherwise it could pool.
yeah.
Also,
Also, there could be differences in colors between
right,
skeins.
and if you alternate it, the eye, so it tricks itself and it blends the colors better. Also, the way the sweater pattern is written, this bottom edge is stockinette, so it curled a little bit, and I didn't like that. So I changed it to a garter edge.
Okay.
I just did like the edge 10 stitches. I was about here when I decided that, so I just dropped
Is it
all
an
those
applied
stitches.
edging?
No, it's just where you pick up from the band,
Oh, okay.
and then you knit out. Um,
Oh,
Unless I missed part of the pattern, like further along, then this curls. But from every picture I could see online, that's what it did. Was it curled slightly under, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just prefer it not to do that. And I actually think that when I'm done with the band, I'm going to pick up an I-cord edging and then do
hmm.
that around because the band also calls for a very short. So like the pockets have a 4-row rib
Hmm.
on them.
Yeah.
And the pattern calls for you to do the same thing on the edge.
Yeah.
And proportionally for a girl my size, that's just not going to do crap. So,
But you're putting it on top of garter, so it would. I mean, it would just.
well, but there is no garter. This is all
Oh.
stockinette.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
So
I got confused.
it
I'm
would
still
just,
confused.
because there's so much band, because I'm a big girl and it's already, there's so
Yeah.
much
No, it's
fabric,
gonna.
it would just flip back and lay flat. Like it
Yeah.
would be inside out all the time. And I know this because I've got
So.
sweaters that do that. So what I was
So.
thinking was picking up the I-cord along the bottom and then just continuing it all along the edge and doing a simple I-cord because that
Okay.
would help it lay flat.
I mean, it's curling into itself. It's not like it's helping it lay flat. I cords curl under to themselves. That's what makes it an I cord.
But the band would lay flat because of the I-cord. That's what my pumpkin ale does, is it lays
Okay.
flat in the front. What's the
Okay.
look for?
No, I'm so confused right now. I guess I'm not getting the construction. So the construction is you knit two pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Do you start at the neck?
Yes.
Is it like knit in pieces and then you seam at the side? Or was it knit like contiguously?
No, it wasn't knit contiguously. Um,
Now I'm confusing you.
it was top down.
Okay.
Maybe it was knit contiguously. I can't remember. But anyway, I remember it was knit. The back piece was knit,
I
and then
remember
the
the
front
back
piece was
piece.
knit up to the sleeves, and then they were joined, and then it was knit back and forth all the way down. And then
Okay.
once that was done, I picked up stitches along the band on the inside here.
Okay. So where's the garter? I'm confused.
There is no garter. I don't know. The garter, the only place there's garter is this is underneath the pocket.
Okay.
That
But
edge.
that goes that way. That's the bottom edge, right? So that's
Yes.
gonna lay like on your hip.
Yes.
So you pick that up and knit around like it was it attached? I guess that's where I'm confused. Because it's going directionality that way.
Yes.
Typically when you knit from the top down, you go that way.
So
I
this,
feel like we're yelling at each other. Why are we
I
yelling
don't
at
know.
a
That's what I feel like.
sweater?
Why is Laura mad at me? Like, I'm just explaining what I
I'm so
did.
confused.
No, so the way that the pattern is written, you pick these stitches up, but it's all in stockinette. This whole panel, all the way down to this very last stitch,
Okay.
is in stockinette. But because it would curl under
Yeah, I got
in
that. Okay.
stockinette, I changed these edge 10 stitches, which are knit
I guess
out this way.
I didn't understand that you had picked up those stitches. Like
Yeah,
I was
as
just
part of
very
the regular
confused.
band. Yes.
Okay.
So
So this is at the bottom. So then you pick up these stitches too, and
it's
then you knit
you pick
stockinette
up
around.
all. So this is, it's now laying horizontally. This is the pocket, right here.
Okay.
So when I picked up the stitches, I started at this corner right here, the very end where the garter is.
Okay.
These were all stockinette. According to the pattern, these should all be stockinette because we pick up these stitches all at the
And
same
it curls
time.
under. Yeah. Okay.
But if I left it as stockinette, then when the everything is done and I'm wearing it, because there's nothing to keep this part flat,
I get that it would
it
roll
would
under.
curl
Yeah.
under. Yes,
And so then it's a wide stockinette band this way.
right. And then
You're just gonna put I cord right here.
correct. The
And that's the
pattern.
only thing that's going to keep it from rolling right here is the I cord.
Well, no. The bands are wide, right? So they're
Yeah, I
meant to
got that.
overlap.
Yeah.
Okay. The way the pattern is written,
It has 4 rows of
4
ribbing.
rows of ribbing, right? Which is
But you don't want to
teeny
do that 'cause
proportionally to my
yeah,
big
like
old
quarter
giant
inch.
hooters, right?
Uh,
So I didn't want to do that. I wanted something that would mesh better visually with the stockinette, which is why I decided I was going to do I-cord at the very edge, because I just think it's going to look better, and I don't know, maybe it won't lay flatter, but it helps it lay pretty flat on the pumpkin ale that I
I
have.
would do the 4 rows of rib, then the I cord.
I don't know if I would like the way that would look though.
But it'll mimic what's on the pockets is. Did it
Yeah.
not?
I'm going to worry about it when I get to it.
I
Maybe
also
I'll knit up a little
thing
sample and see
outside,
which
yeah.
one I like. I think you just like telling me what to do.
Well, that is true.
Um,
I'm not gonna deny that, but I don't know. I think it would lay flatter.
maybe it would. I don't know. Maybe I'll knit a little swatch and see.
I'm just still. I got it now, I think, but I'm just like visually, I'm not getting.
I have a problem spatially understanding things sometimes when people say,
I'm spatially understanding everything.
yeah, pretend that there's a triangle and turn it 90 degrees. Now put a
Oh
rectangle
my
beside
God.
it, and I'm like, you've already lost me. So one thing was that I was concerned about was the collar, because the collar is just as wide as these bands. Right now the bands are probably 6-7 inches. So I was concerned about it being, just a big wide band behind my neck. But I didn't even realize that she had designed this ruching behind the neck,
Oh, look at that.
which isn't that genius?
Oh,
So
so it's pleated.
yeah, like puckers it intentionally behind the neck, so you don't have quite so much fabric, pushing up into your
Yeah.
hair. And of course on the inside it looks
it's
beautiful. You can't
yeah.
even tell.
It's a way of doing it without doing short row.
Yeah, it's like a pleat.
Huh, that's really interesting.
Isn't it? It's a really clever little addition. So right now I am on the left pocket because the way that the pattern is written, the only thing I'm really not digging about this pattern is you have to break yarn like a lot.
I had to do that for the leg sleeves for babies,
Yeah.
and I had 22 ends to weave in because I also had some issues with the yarn too. So
Pumpkin Ale was
22
the
ends.
same way. It was a lot of break yarn because you're changing direction so
Yeah.
much that it's kind of unavoidable. But right now I'm working on the second pocket, so this is the left pocket, and I'm knitting the stockinette on the inside, and I've got another like 20 rows to go, and then you join it to the active rows on the band, and then you knit another like it depends on what size, but another 10 rows before you start the edging. So
Okay.
hopefully I'll have the edging done next week, maybe.
You might have 5K done by the time Jess gets back.
Maybe. But then I might do nothing for a month, so.
There's that.
But yeah, that's pretty much it as far as crafting goes. I really haven't done any spinning or embroidery or anything else this week. I've just...
You gotta win Stash Dash.
Well, yeah, and work's been insane. I'm trying to figure out a way to transition into this new job, and there's other crap I'm dealing with there, so anyway, so that's pretty much all my crafting. Now you should talk about all of your FOs, and through the magic of the internet, I'll put them up as you're talking about them.
So I took pictures before I gifted stuff because I wanted to turn it in for House Cups. So Leslie's gonna put in pictures as I talk about it. But I also have the leftover yarns for most of the stuff. So last week I'd shown you my first Milo that I had finished, which had the heart cables, and that was out of the Fiber Story Decay. Fiber Story Core Decay in the Jammies colorway. And then the next Milo that I knit, I started knitting out of this gorgeous Gales art. So this is Gales Art Decay that I bought at, it was her show special at Maryland. And I got through the front garter. The Milo has like a yoke up here, little sweater. So it's got a garter yoke at the top that forms kind of like a sleeve band. And then you bind off those stitches and you do a little bit more garter, and then you start what's supposed to be a stockinette portion with a cable that runs down the side. Well, I just kept going in garter because I was like, I know this pattern. I've knit it 7 times. And I realized it as I was binding off. I was like, so this one is actually garter with a heart, and this one's to one of my coworkers.
I think that's awesome,
though. The 3-person, so last time we spoke, I feel like I said, I have a 3-person baby shower. And that became a 5-person baby shower. I actually just did for 4 because one of my coworkers isn't due till October, like the end of October. So I asked her if she would mind if I gave stuff to her later, and she was like, absolutely not. And I bought her lunch when we went out to lunch yesterday, because then I felt bad. So then I had one more that I did of the Milos. And this is leftover yarn from, I had done a shawl for Camp Loopy, a Roseback pattern. And I had used this skein Decay, and I had almost a whole skein left, which is like 200 yards. 270 yards is what it was, but I had like 200 yards left. So I used a good bit of this. So this is skein Decay. And on this one, instead of doing the heart cable, I just did like one giant cable. So that went to my coworker this is his 9th child. So he got divorced. He had like 2 kids from a previous relationship and got divorced. And he married her, and she had like 4 or 5 kids. I don't know. I don't know where the math is, but together, it's like the Brady Bunch up in there. Between the 2 of them, this will be their 9th kid. Like, this is the first kid that they have together.
Wow.
But they will have 9 kids altogether.
I have mad respect for people who love their kids enough to spend lots of time with them. Whether that's staying at home with them or homeschooling them or...
I don't know what his wife does.
I just am too selfish for that.
It's a lot of kids, yo. And you know him because he goes to Alan's dojo. So it's Mark Carter. You've met him before at one of Alan's shindigs. That's my coworker. He's also a soccer coach. But yeah, I don't think this was planned. I think this was kind of a surprise. So anyway, those are my 3 Milos that I did, and then my big boss, who went to high school with Leslie, is having his 2nd little girl, and this is their last kid. So for them, I did on Ravelry, and all my modifications and stuff are on Ravelry. I first did a baby dress out of this, I think this is Diabolical. I'm not sure, but if it's Diabolical, it's from Diabolical back when like Lyman Violet recorded, so
Mm-hmm.
like 2007, 2006. Um, and I did the pattern like sleeves for babies. I used the version that's in the 101 One Skein Wonder baby book that we got to review a couple months back,
Mm-hmm.
which I really like. It's got some good stuff in there. It is also available for download. I did the 3 month size. Um, Instead, modifications that I did garter stitch in the round for the hem instead of seed stitch. When it has you like place, basically you divide the back into thirds. So you do up this side, and then you keep this on a holder and up this side. Instead of using yarn holders, like they said, I use circular needles in size 1 as
Mm-hmm.
my holders. I do that all the time. Um, to hold yarn because it's easier for me. I also, it has you bind off and then seam stuff together. I turned my work inside out and did 3 needle bind offs for the shoulder sleeves seams because that I love. Um, and then the one thing I didn't like about this that I did is I used a modified Russian bind off. So you pick up for the neckband and knit like 3 rows of garter, and then you bind it off. And it tells you to use like a super stretchy bind off because it's got to go over a big old baby head.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I used modified Russian, which is what I use at the top of all my socks, but it's got like a little bacon neck thing going on, which is not my favorite. Um, so
By bacon neck, you mean it's wavy?
yeah, it's a little bit wavy.
Okay.
Because it's bound off so loose that it can fit over a big giant kid's head.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if I was to knit it again, I would, instead of picking up and knitting in the round for those 3 rows, I would work back and forth and add like a button closure in the back.
Yeah.
And that way I could just bind off as normal, I think.
Couldn't you do a rib and then bind off in rib? Wouldn't.
It's not, I don't think it's loose enough to go over baby head. It's
Mm.
pretty tight. You'll see, like, it gets pretty, I don't know. I need to look at some other modifications, but at that point, I really like the pattern because it's got this cool, and I like having the garter at the bottom because it's got like this garter stitch detail that
Yeah.
comes up. So I'll definitely do it again. Plus, it's on like size 5 needles and it's fingering weight yarn, so it goes actually fairly fast because you're knitting, stocking it in the round for 7 inches essentially.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to use up, let's say for Stash Dash, some fingering weight yarn and you have babies in your lives, that's a good way of doing it. So because I wasn't super happy with the neck, I wanted something to cover the neckline. So I knit something else. So I used this yarn, and this is a while back. I did Webs does grab bags every once in a while
Mm-hmm.
of Madeline Tosh yarn. So I got in a grab bag of vintage, and this was in it. And I've actually used almost every single thing that was, excuse me, that was in that grab bag for baby knits. Because it was a lot of like yellows and blues,
Right.
and it was fun. Like it's a good way of using up that yarn. So I did a pattern. I was searching last night for like a 150-yard pattern that I can knit up really quickly. And there is a pattern called Bella Rose by Taja Hillard Designs that I had already favorited. So it's this little, so like sleeves is a dress, it's a baby dress, and the Milos are vests. This is like a little
Shrug.
it's like a little shrug sweater that's got lace detailing, like a feather and fan lace detail at the
Mm-hmm.
bottom, which is just 2 rows of lace basically and 8 rows of knitting. So it really goes fast. I knit it in 3 hours and 5 minutes. That's including weaving and ends and the sleeves. I did short sleeves on it. It used probably around, I would say, half a skein of Tosh Vintage. I think it says it uses like 120 to 130 yards. Let's see. The smallest size uses 120 yards. I did the small size because that's what size the dress is. I added a mother of pearl faux little drop button this morning. It buttons up here and then kind of, it's really cool because you're decreasing on this edge, but you're increasing on the shoulder seam line. So it kind of goes out like that. I like it a lot. I'm going to knit it again for sure. And it's a quick knit. And it looks really cute. It got lots of compliments. at the shower. And I just did it as written. I used size 6 and 7 needles because vintage is a worsted weight. Super fast pattern. So it's one, and it's sized when you actually look at the pattern. It's sized from 0 to 3 months all the way up to 8 to 10 years.
Oh, cool.
So it's one that I could use for Alice and Julia as well. I think the largest sizes use how many yards? 550 yards for the largest size. So that's a good way of using up, like, hey, I bought 3 skeins of Cascade 220 when they were itty bitty babies to knit them baby sweaters, and now they use a lot more than that because Julia's 7 on Friday. Happy birthday, Julia!
That's crazy.
So, I know. But it's got this little ruffle hem and a cutaway front, and it's just super, super cropped cardigan shrug. Super cute. So, and I love her designs. She does a lot of baby dresses and stuff, and lots of super cute kids clothing for sure. And a lot of it's free. Like, and she's got some great last minute bulky stuff. If these had been winter babies, I would have eaten that up. But unfortunately, they were all summer. So, I think that's everything that I knit. Did I finish anything else?
All the baby things.
All the baby things. I'm really upset with myself. I should have moved the stash dates because this was like 260, 390, 420 plus like 300, almost 1,000 yards, like 750 yards worth of stuff that I gave away and finished the week before stash dash.
Wah, wah, wah.
Wah, wah, sad trombone. I have not been spinning because I've been doing all this kinds of crazy. Although I'm gonna spin tonight because that is gonna be my Although I really should cast on those socks. I should cast on those socks.
You should finish the Harry Potter socks.
Well, I just have one. Like,
I know, but you should finish it.
Just finish that one and then use those needles for the TheKnitGirll's one. Yeah, that would be good. My coworkers today. So we had a shower, and it ended up being for 9 people. So it was a 4-person wedding shower and a 5-person baby shower, and there was no cake, which made me super sad. Like, it was the most depressing. They sent an email on Friday, like, oh, you know, it's the end of the year. We can't.
Okay. And there was no cake is now the episode title.
And so they're like, okay, so if you want to bring baked goods to the shower, you can too. And my first reaction to that was not a super positive one.
Not only do I have to bring gifts for 9 people, but maybe I should also take time and money out of my busy schedule and bake you something.
I did not do anything for the wedding shower people, and I feel kind of guilty about it, but I'm not invited to any of their weddings. So I wonder what the line for that...
Did you even know that it was going to be a wedding shower?
Yeah, I knew that there was a wedding shower, but also like 4 times, I think like the minimum that you can acceptably give for a wedding shower present is $20. Plus cards, plus everything, and plus I had to, you know, wrap the baby stuff and do cards for that too. And even though I was using stash yarn, I spent a lot of time.
I was gonna say,
each of those Milos was like 6.5 to 7 hours. The one that was Garter took way longer than that because I'm an idiot. The in-sleeves dress took forever. I got to meet one of our viewers on Friday, which was super cool. She was in town. She's from Knoxville, and she sent me a PM and was like, hey, I'd love to meet up. So Friday I went and got coffee with her at Starbucks. So I got a lot of work done on the in-sleeves dress as we sat and chatted for like an hour and a half. Which is, if you're ever in the Memphis area, send me a PM and we'll totally meet up. But, like, it was just that in-sleeves dress was a lot of work. Even though it went super fast, because it's for fingering weight, it went super fast, but all those ends. Anyway, so I'm a horrible human being because I didn't do wedding showers too, but I'm sure I'll be knitting the baby stuff in a year.
I was going to say, their time will come. Because if Mississippi couples are good at anything, clearly procreating is at the top of that list.
Well, when you work with 95% women, I mean,
yeah,
it's gonna happen. There's lots of bridal showers, and I don't know. If you're not invited to the wedding though, but you're invited to a shower, I just feel like that's kind of, I don't know.
I don't really get the whole. When our friend was getting married, I got sort of like overdosed on showers because there was the fun silly lingerie shower,
Oh yeah,
and
she had
then
the
there was
lingerie
like
shower,
the
and then she
formal
had
bridal shower, and then there was like the down home country one with the family.
yeah,
There were so many,
there were
and
like 4.
and I
Hmm.
the whole time I was like, look, I'm knitting this shawl. That's all you're getting. I'm not buying you anything else. It's not gonna
That
happen.
is your
I am
wedding answer.
uncomfortable
Yeah.
purchasing you lingerie. It's just not gonna happen. And
And it was funny because her mother-in-law's friends were the people who purchased the majority of the
yeah.
lingerie. I will never have a lingerie shower
I
or
didn't
get
have any
married, so
kind of
there's
shower at all
that.
when I got married because I'm a
Aw.
grown up and well, I don't want to that sounds demeaning. You can do
No.
whatever choices you want for your own life, but I just never understood the need for multiple showers for the same person.
Anyway, so I'm a horrible human being and didn't participate in the
I'm a
bridal
horrible judgy human being about multiple showers for a single person, so.
shower. Anyway, so what I've actually been reading, I've read a book
Yay.
and I was super sneaky about it because the time, like, I knew that it was going to expire in 3 hours. I borrowed it from the library digitally before I got to it. It was going to expire in like 3 hours. So I put my Kindle on airplane mode so they couldn't
Oh. Nice.
So I read The Shepherd's Crown by Terry Pratchett. The reason why I waited till 3 hours were really left on it is because I have been dragging my feet on this book. Not because it's not a fabulous book, because it was. Um, but I knew that there was a death of a major Discworld character in it, first off.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that it was the last book that Terry
Yeah.
Pratchett wrote. So
It's
now I'm
hard
getting
when you sort of
emotional. I'm
like
like,
fall in love with fictional
oh,
characters or a
yeah.
fictional universe.
And authors. I mean, I've been reading Terry Pratchett since I was oof,
Yeah.
12, 13. So
He's
sad.
always been brilliant and funny
End
and
of an era.
sardonic and
Oh, the footnotes are
yeah.
hilarious, always. So it's the last of the Discworld books, but it's also the last, and it definitely ends the Tiffany Aching series well. So, We Free Men is the first book in that series.
Hmm. Which
Um,
is hilarious, totally appropriate for kids as well.
oh yeah, it's a kid's book. It's a YA book.
Yeah, it's I have listened to that book several
The
times.
Audible, I think, is actually better than reading it yourself
Yes,
because the
you get
knock
the
back
Pixies
McFeeble,
voice.
yes,
Yes, and it's just fantastic.
the drunk Pixies are very hilarious, and their voice, whoever reads it, does a really good job.
Yes. I've really enjoyed reading and listening to the Tiffany Aching series, and I've read maybe almost 2 dozen of the regular Discworld series books. I think there's
I
like
think there's
40
like
something.
70
Oh,
now. I
okay.
think it's like 70.
I
Hold on.
only got to 20 something, and then I got derailed, and I haven't gone back yet. But
They used to. There were movies that were made out of
hmm
them, and they used to have them on Netflix, and they took them off. But
there's a couple like Hogfather. I think that was a
I love
BBC one.
Hogfather. It's my favorite.
The Color of Magic is
And then
out there
Postal.
somewhere. Um,
And then the Postal one.
the Postal one.
Hmm.
I don't know what the Postal one is.
Anyway, it's 41. I'm totally a liar.
Okay,
That's
yeah. I thought there was 40 something, but I wasn't sure.
so
Um,
I'm adding more. Going Postal is the other one.
okay. I don't think I've seen that one. But,
They were good. I don't know. They're like very BBC, but Hogfather is probably my favorite. I do like that as a character in those.
whoa. Whatever you just did, like, filtered you from being this close to being this close.
Really? I haven't moved at
No, I
all.
know, but like you must have flipped a window in Apple in your operating system or something. Maybe
I
you,
closed Amazon.
maybe I don't know. Whatever you did, it totally changed the perspective on how
Oh,
close you were to the
I
screen.
love changing perspectives. Anyways, We totally skipped the question, but what are you listening to? And then we'll go back to
I'm
mine.
still listening to Mistborn. I am interspersing it because it can be very dry and sort of technical in parts, as the characters learn how to use the different elemental metals. But sort of interspersed with that, I'm re-listening to. There's a male romance series called I think it's called the Cut and Run series, but it's by Abigail Rue, Roux, and I'm re-listening to this. I've listened to it before and enjoyed it, and so I'm re-listening to that now. A couple people in the Maryland Sheep and Wool thread were talking about how they like hearing us talk about our books, and that we should actually talk about which smutty ones we're reading. So, as long as it's not too terribly smutty, I'll share which ones I'm listening to or reading. And then Kobe finished the second Lockwood books. He's almost finished with the third Lockwood book. He's got like 30 pages left. And then he read the Mercedes Lackey.
Oh, the Arrows trilogy. That's one of the first fantasy trilogies I ever read.
Yeah, he finished the one that I had borrowed from a coworker was Brightly Burning. And
Hmm.
so he read that one this weekend. It's amazing how much he reads when he's not sucked into that computer. And then he asked for some more by that author, so I bought him the Arrows trilogy.
And then they have the Mage Winds, right?
Yeah, there's like a
Yeah, she's written a
dozen.
ton.
Yeah.
But there's not a there's a yeah, there's a good bit in that series. He should read if he likes those. He should read the Becker Cooper books by and the Wild Magic, and I'll think of it, Pierce. Samora Pierce would be a good one for him.
Okay.
You know what? When you move back, he can just you won't have to buy books ever because you have a bestie that has
Who runs a
22,000
library? Yeah.
in her library. So,
So we have a
and his
question,
library
right?
is good. We do have a question. So the question is, it's from Night Owl Knitter, and she says, "I'm in the process of designing my perfect knitting essentials accessory kit. So darning needle, tape measure, scissors, etc. I was wondering what you two consider a perfectly stocked kit for knitting, also for spinning. Let's address knitting first, and we'll talk about spinning.
First, I'll say no matter how perfect it is, the first time you use it, it's going to be in disarray.
Missing something.
Yeah. Definitely darning needles,
Tape measure,
scissors.
scissors. I do like a like a counter.
I don't use those so much. I
Really?
usually put in a length of a couple of
Waist
yards of
yarn.
a smooth wool so that I can use it for waist yarn or
Stitch markers, and I
yeah,
have like a ton of these tins from Gelby, which
yeah,
are my favorites. Um,
lots of stitch markers. I also keep one of those crochet hooks, the little ones to pick up stitches. I usually keep one of those in my notions kits.
I keep an actual sewing needle with a little bit of thread.
I usually don't do that.
More so like if something happens at work that I need to fix real
Yeah.
fast. Safety pins, the coilless safety
Yeah,
pins.
the
Stitch
bowl
markers.
shaped ones. I like those a lot for stitch markers. Um,
What else is in there? I should have just grabbed mine.
yeah, mine are all upstairs because that's where I do most of my actual knitting is upstairs. So, I don't know. I would say that's a pretty good start for your
Yeah.
basic. I usually keep a couple of most of those things. So, a couple of darning needles, because I'll use one and forget to put it back, so I'll have a backup.
Mine always has an extra set of DPNs and zeros just because you
Uh,
never know when a needle's gonna break.
yeah. And depending on like if I'm going on a trip and I have one relatively central kind of notions kit, I'll usually keep like hand sanitizer and maybe a little pack of baby wipes or something in there. Uh, just in case I meet, I run into somebody who wants to introduce themselves to us, and I'm a sweaty, gross mess. I can at least be less disgusting when I shake your hand.
Trying to
Um,
think what else. I don't know. That might be about it. Definitely a tape measure. Just forgot her tape. Oh, post-it notes. Highlighting tape.
I don't use highlighting tape so much because I don't like the sticky residue that it leaves. Um, but I do use post-it notes a lot.
A
Um,
pen.
yeah, a pen is useful.
So for spinning, I have a kit that goes with my spinning wheels.
What's in your
That
kit?
What's in my kit is a good question. Screwdrivers, pliers, um, to fix anything that might break along the way. Mine is, it kind of looks like a yoga tube holder that we got from Namaste a couple years
From the
ago.
the loopy
Loop
spring
second
fling.
fling, yeah. And I put, when I'm traveling with my shocks, I put my bobbins in there. Um, so spare bobbins,
Oil.
oil
I
for
usually
sure.
put a couple of either shop towels or paper towels in there because as
Yeah.
you oil it, you want to clean off the old oil.
Um, uh,
Wraps
one
per inch
inch
tool.
wraps per inch tool or a spinner's control card and a spinner's control card. I keep some extra whorls for my shafts in there because they're standalone.
Depending on
Um,
your wheel, you want to keep an extra brake band or extra
yeah,
cotton if you use that for your drive band. Just depending on what kind of wheel you have, you want
I have hand lotion in there in case I'm spinning
to.
silk and I need something that um can smooth out my hands a little bit. What else do I have in there? Leaders, spare
Yeah, like lengths of waste yarn to use
for
as
leaders,
leaders.
scissors.
Lazy
In
Kate, if you're taking it as a kit, you would need a Lazy Kate.
um some index cards or small bits of cardstock and a pen so if I'm sampling I can write down exactly what I did and wrap the yarn around that. Plastic bags so then I can stick those in a plastic bag with a bit of fluff, especially if I'm taking a class.
You're
That's
much
about
more
it.
prepared than me.
My phone so I can sometimes when I'm taking a class I like to take pictures of the steps as I go
Hmm.
or just pictures of Leslie while she's not looking. Oh, what else? Or take notes in my phone as well. Mom would say like a little notebook that she keeps notes in. But my mom carries a notebook with everything. I bought my mother a new purse, FYI.
You're so fancy.
My mom has had the same purse since I was, and it's not like a purse. It's like a, I don't even know what that thing is.
Yeah, it's like
It's a
a
wallet that is attached to a cord,
yeah,
basically.
it's very small.
Yes.
There's not a lot of room for stuff.
Yes. So, as a belated Mother's Day present, I sent her to the Tom Bin website.
Hmm.
So I bought her one of the small cafe bags, is what she wanted,
Hmm.
in black because we can't have colors. And then I bought Wheezy some of their cord tingler things because they've got some good stuff.
Yeah, Tom Bend
Um,
does have good stuff.
so I think that's about it. I'm trying to think of anything else that I would put in there.
We should open that up to
Oh, rubber bands, spare rubber bands for my Lundrum
because that's how
because
they
that's
tension.
what it
Yeah.
tensions with, and some spare twine to use as a tensioning for any of them, like kitchen twine. Yeah, we should open it up. So if we did not say something that you think is essential,
You're almost
let us know.
absolutely right, and we just
Yeah,
forgot.
yeah,
Or
just
we
let
didn't
us.
think of it.
That's true. It's always interesting to see crowdsource what's in people's
Hmm.
heads. All right, favorite things, upcoming events. We have Stash Dash coming up. This Friday it starts. We have our spin along and along for this gorgeous fiber, and
Yep.
then we also did yarn from
From
Wandering Wolf
and Ross
and
Farm
Ross
Fibers.
Farms.
Hmm.
It's coming up. Um, we have a giveaway for the Maryland Sheep and Wool prize.
Yep. Let me pull out my random number generator device.
Let me pull out the yarn.
I saw somebody knit a sock head hat out of that yarn, and it was gorgeous.
Babs did.
Oh, was it Babs?
Yes.
I saw she posted it, but I thought it was a repost of somebody else.
No, I don't know. Maybe it was. I thought it was her.
Don't be making fun of me. You don't know what you're talking about.
That's true. That's always true. Oh my gosh, I have so much yarn. Yeah, that's the right one.
Okay, so let's go out and take a look and see how many entries we had.
Those were so much fun to read, by the way.
Yeah.
I love. That's my favorite.
I
Ever
told
once a
Michael
year.
that we were doing this, favorite knit girls thing, and I said, out of everyone that's related to me, half of them are related to Hugh, being Michael, whether it's the lace chart or the fish tank or some other thing that he did that I've talked about on the show. He's a big hit apparently. So
Yeah, so are the animals always.
between 2 and 301, right? It looks like
Yes.
there's 301 entries.
Yes.
Okay.
And
So
I'm on there twice because I answered.
well,
So I
if we
messed
get
up.
you, then we'll skip you.
Yeah.
So it's between 2 and 301, and I have not pushed the button. But I will push the button, and it says number 99, which should be on the fourth page.
Fourth page. The bottom on the fourth page. That's a good number.
99.
Queenie lives. Queenie lives.
Lives?
Queenie lives. Haha. It says, new viewer here, so I'm playing catch up on all your episodes that are on your site. So far, my favorite moments are when Leslie's dog makes an appearance and knocks her camera wonky.
Yep.
Milos. I've seen it twice already, so I'm sure it happens more than I don't know that it has happened more than that.
It has, but it's not as frequent anymore because he's usually up there with Daddy. So,
Yeah.
so Queenie Lives, just send Laura a private
Yeah.
message with your address, and she will get it sent out to you.
Cool. Where's she from? Utah. Awesome.
Sweet. I don't know if I've mailed to Utah before.
I don't know. My post office guy, I mailed everything that I owed people except for one thing. I had to look up an address on Saturday, so everything should be off into the. And most people should have gotten it by now, but he's just like, no overseas this time? I was like, no. Because usually I have to fill out customs
Yeah.
forms. And then we discussed something weird, and I can't remember what. He's a big Steelers fan, so we discuss lots of weird things all the time.
So we have a new
Anyway.
giveaway for this week, right?
Yes, we do. Where do I go? Oh, there it is. So, Juliana's Fiber Company, she's a Canadian dyer, and she does gorgeous stuff. She just started doing these continuum gradients. So they're really, really pretty. I'll have to check out her website. And actually, I'm going to send you to her. The prompt for this one is go to her website and come back with your favorite thing that she makes because they're amazing. Also, the Canadian exchange is amazing right now.
So is this a gradient versus a self-striping?
It is a gradient, so it will slowly move from the orange to the blue, and this is the saltwater sunset colorway. It is an 80% superwash merino wool, 20% nylon, 420 yards, and it's really, really pretty. She does pretty stuff. So she sent an SSK door prize, and she included this to give away.
Sweet. Well,
as
thank you, Juliana.
She's sweet, and she does great Periscope videos, so she's definitely worth following on Periscope. I haven't been on Periscope in forever. I need to get back to it, but people typically Periscope while I'm at work, so now I can, now that I'm off for the summer, I can actually look and see things. So I will start that topic in the Knit Girls thread. I'm trying that giveaway. What else do we have to talk about? We will be at TNNA June 10th and 11th in Washington, D.C.
Yep.
Friday morning, we're going to drive down from Philly, probably go to Fiber Space. Then there's a thing where you can buy all the things Friday night. We need to look up when that is.
A thing where you can buy all the things.
What is that called? The preview?
Sample it?
Sample it. Thank you.
That is not at Fiberspace. That is at TNNA.
Yes. So we're going to go to Sample It. Rachel Coopy is going to be at TNNA, so I told her we
Yay.
should meet up. We have someone else that we're going to meet up with. And then Saturday, we are just going to be walking the floor. We might try to bring a video camera. I don't know. In the past, they have not allowed that, so...
Yeah, I think the last time that we went, it was by booth. You had to get the booth person's permission, so...
So we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there'll be some neat stuff that y'all want to look at. Oh, we should do a live podcast to kick off Stash Dash. How do you feel about that?
Um,
Like maybe after Memorial Day weekend, because I know people have a lot of family stuff going on right now.
yeah, yeah, that's fine.
Oh, we could be in the same room together and do it while I'm visiting you.
Hmm.
Let's do that. What date am I flying to you? The 8th of
That
June?
Wednesday, and I have that Wednesday. I'm off starting Wednesday. That
Oh,
you come, but you
I
don't come
told,
until later in the day, I think. But
yeah, and I told Beck that we should do dinner that
yeah,
night. So not Wednesday the 8th. Let's do Thursday the 9th. What
okay,
time do
okay,
you want to do it? We could do it like 7 o'clock Eastern, maybe?
okay. God, I have to
No.
clean down here.
Um, so live podcast
We're so
for Stash
professional.
Dash Chicken. We are, and that'll be check in as two separate words. That'll be, what is that? 6, 8, 6, 9
6-9
at 7 p.m.
Eastern.
Eastern Standard Time. Are you
Mm-hmm.
on Standard Time?
I am on
So
standard time.
I'm on non-standard time.
You're almost on summertime.
um, SSK, the class signups are still going on. We're gonna send out an email reminding people
Mm-hmm.
about that and about roommates probably this week.
Yep.
We probably have a few spots to fill too, because I
Yes.
know we have a couple people who dropped this week.
Mm-hmm. So probably what we're gonna do is I'll talk to Laura after this, and we'll set up a date like we've done in the past, where it'll be a first come first serve,
Yeah,
based on replies to a thread on Ravelry. You have to have already been on the wait list. I'll send out an email to everybody who's still on the wait list explaining this, so that everybody gets the exact same information.
yep.
And then I'll post about it on Ravelry. I'll give you at least a week's heads up, on before the post goes live. I just haven't had time to
We'll
prep
have
the
a
post
date
yet.
in the we'll have the date and time in the email that we send out.
Yes, and
And that's
we'll
about
tell
it.
you about it next week when we record as
And
well.
next week we'll draw for Patreon prizes. So I am going
Hmm.
to spin this week so that we have a Patreon handspun prize for next week.
Okay. And I'll pull a prize. Actually, there's a Knitter's Nightmare yarn that I got a couple years ago at SSK. Well, I got several that year, but there's one that I think could get a better home somewhere else where somebody actually has time to knit it. I was looking at it the other day and I thought, ooh, this would be a pretty giveaway. So
Sadie Ruin's coming to SSK, but she's not vending,
she's not
correct?
vending, correct?
We do have a vendor change for SSK
Mm-hmm.
that we will maybe we can put that in that. This email is gonna get pretty long that we're gonna do, but
We already
unfortunately,
have the contract, so you can talk about it if you want.
okay. Good. Thank you. Unfortunately, we had a vendor drop. So now I can't even remember who it
It was
was.
Cyborg's Craft
There
Room.
we go.
She
Cyborg's
has some
Crafter
personal, like,
stuff. Yeah, it
yeah,
happens.
some things in life happened, and so she's not going to be able to come down for the event. But we keep a backup list of people
Do.
who still want to vend, and just we weren't able to pull them the first time.
And I'm
So
super excited because I met these people at DFW. So Western Sky, who does gorgeous. Let me pull the skein of yarn that I bought from them at DFW. I'll be right back. Hold on.
yeah. The first
Continue talking.
time that I heard about them, our friend Lynn, who works at the Loopy U, mentioned them, and they had gotten in a shipment at the Loopy U of their stuff. That was the first time I had heard of it, and so I've looked at it several times since then, and they're some really beautiful colors,
Oh,
especially variegates. So,
yeah. And this is on their sparkle base. I appreciate the fact that they have tons of different bases.
hmm
So it's not just sock yarn. And they might even have like, they definitely had sweater quantities of sock yarn. They had like 4 to 5 of each. But this is Western Sky. It's two ladies who dye it.
hmm
And it is absolutely stunning.
yeah, they have lots of really great colors and great variegates. So I'm looking forward to browsing their booth.
Yeah, I wanted to buy their entire booth at DFW, so I'm super excited.
Impulse control is not our strong suit all of the
But I
time.
only, well, I bought one, so that's not bad.
We also want to genuinely thank all of our Patreon
Yes.
supporters. We sincerely appreciate you guys being willing to support us as we figure out how to make this transition back to the same room as smooth as possible. And then once there, how can we continue to sort of stay
We
relevant
probably
and
need
bring
to
you
buy
good
a new
stuff?
video camera
Oh, I'm
because
sure. Yeah. The one we have is
4 years
years,
ago.
yeah,
Yeah.
several years old. And I will have to replace the processor in my computer at some point relatively soon. But the Patreon donations help that. So thank you very
Yes.
much. We
Thank you.
genuinely appreciate it. Um, and let's see. I think that's it. And the next time we talk, Stash Dash will have started, so we'll have some finished things to talk about.
Hopefully, lots of finished things. I
Yeah.
need to go through my works in progress bin. Maybe I'll take a picture for Instagram every day next week of works in progress. That'll be fun.
Hmm.
Hmm.
After work. Boo. And I'll be on call.
Oh, snap.
So, okay. You guys have a lovely week, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.